team, thank you guys again for sitting down and doing this interview, chatting that up, and giving us a little bit of an insight into how you guys operate as a team and what it takes to be a squad at the top of the VRML. Yeah, let's start with you, Juice, and then we'll go down to say your name and kind of introduce yourself as a player.
Juice. I'm the captain of eternity and / owner. Proxy.
My name is Proxy, and I shoot people.
My name's the Ace, and I'm the flank watch mainly for Eternity.
Penny Packer. I do IGL stuff, the stratting. Fun fact, I got a lot of. This is my first VR comp experience, but I come from competitive Rainbow Six.
Oh, I know that.
And I'm Proof. Yeah, I don't know. I'm cool, I guess.
And that is the Eternity team. And I'll start with you, Juice, as the team captain. You know, what are you doing in preparation? What's your focus when you go into like scrimmages and practices? What are you focusing on as the team captain?
Focus would be consistency, seriousness. I mean, you could have your jokes and laughter inside a scrim or even practice, but we like to pretend in any of the scrims that I would say finals are a very tough team, even if it's an uneven match where we're more favored or a much stronger team, we're still going to take it serious. And it's perfect timing to practice our strats from our Penny Packer here. He's what I like to call our team compass, I would say. He creates all of our strats. He documents, he watches footages. As well, we all watch our footage, right? But he's right here, our secret weapon.
Yeah, Penny Packer, any insight into your sort of daily process or sort of what you focus on before we go into scrims? With maybe you're not revealing too much, you know?
Yeah, sure. No, definitely a lot of VOD review. You want to see how teams play, see what they like to default to. You know, obviously you want to have a lot of tricks in your bag, and a lot of these teams already do, but just knowing like a default kind of way that teams like to play. And then in those scrims, I think just getting back to those, one really good strategy is practicing the strats that we have and running through, you know, the pathing and the process of all that. And I think a lot of teams can get hung up on wanting to win scrims and like, oh, we got to do these things that we know we're really good at to like win these scrims. But it's like, no, let's do the things that are tough and we like really struggle with, and let's practice those in scrims. And, you know, if we've already got something that we're good at, like, perfect, let's leave it. And then let's focus on those things that we're not good at. So that's definitely what scrims are good for us.
Absolutely.
And so I guess for the rest of you guys, what are you doing outside of scrims? Is there anything you do to practice? Are you playing in regular pubs, or is most of your focus on playing when you do the scrimmages?
I mean, well, the only really other thing you can do to like practice outside of scrims is just like matchmaking, just ranks.
I mostly aim train.
Yeah.
I was in the range, so.
I just play ranked a lot.
The
And
ranked
solo.
and aim training, yeah.
Fun fact, he's master.
Certainly an achievement, and yeah, no surprise that some guys like you would be at the top of the ranked ladder, especially with a team that is at the top of the ladder. And so, Juice, you know, being a team captain of a top team, you know, do you feel the pressure right now as we get sort of to the back half of this season, or how are you adjusting to being one of these squads that's now kind of consistently up in the top 10?
So at first, for other leagues in the beginning of making the top tier team and climbing the ranks, there was pressure. I think what removes that pressure or allows such calmness is confidence in my teammates and players. So every time we're in these scrims or matches, seeing such confidence and trust in one another and our chemistry of us all working together and just moving as one unit, it allows me to have calmness or much confidence knowing that we deserve to be where we are, of how much we work to be here. So it wouldn't be I'm nervous or any pressure. It's more as, how do I stay here? How do I get us to stay here? And with doing that, we've just recently had a big meeting, and now we all have separate roles here. We have quality assurance players here now. We have event coordinator, social media. So there's a lot more coming into our team as a whole. But with everyone playing their part, we're all coming together and allowing us to stay at the top tier team.
That's awesome. Any other thoughts from you guys on the squad about being a top tier squad? You know, how do you feel as a player? Are you feeling that sort of? Is there anything different since you've been on a top tier team in the VRML? I guess to the point you have certainly experience winning at a high level in Breachers.
I think there's
Um,
definitely. Sorry, go ahead, Proxy.
So I don't know. It's kind of like, especially because when I started playing, it just feels like it feels nice not to lose. I don't know. And like it just feels great.
We just have a very hungry team, you know. Like every game we go in, if we're even losing a couple rounds, you know, because there's been teams that tested our abilities and showed us that where we're lacking, if we're slowing down, and then we just all pick each other back up mid game every time. It's like, all right, guys, let's lock in here. Let's get back where we were, you know. And then everyone just all of a sudden every time picks up their slack, picks up each other's slacks, refrags. Penny again with his plays allows us to pull audibles and allows us to basically come clutch every single time. So I think it's just a confidence and trust in one another that allows us to just stay where we're at in such a top tier area.
I think there was definitely some nerves at first, for the first like preseason and things like that. But I think as we've all gotten really comfortable with each other, and there's these situations that can be really nervous, but knowing, I guess it's kind of tied to it, but like our mental, as far as like, I know a lot of teams can get really frustrated with each other and really angry, and how they let that out can be kind of toxic, and like it can make players like be scared to perform, or to not perform, but to be a little risky with plays, or to do things, and they all of a sudden kind of turn really passive instead of being aggressive, which you definitely got to be at this higher tier. So I think knowing that, having that comfort of knowing like, hey, if I mess up, my team's not going to be like super livid with me or livid at all, but like we're all cool with each other, and we know we're going to make mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes, and we can talk about them and we can go over them, but it's not going to be this like big thing where people are like super mad at me or whatever. So I think having that comfort and knowing that can help us perform a lot better.
Yeah, it was definitely going to be a follow-up question, and maybe you can expand on this proof too. But it's just, like, how do you guys deal with loss? Was kind of one of my things I wanted to ask, because you guys have lost in the past. You're not an undefeated team like some of these squads are. So like, what is the process there?
I mean, with loss, it's always just like a learning experience, I mean, there are some negative things you can take from it, but you got to turn those negatives into a positive. Like if once we take a loss, we kind of just get in VC hop and a chat together, just reflect on what we could have done. If this live stream, look through that stream, just see at what points what things went wrong and how we can improve on it in scrims and stuff.
Now we are out of the virtual world into the real world. Let's maybe redo introductions, because people certainly don't know who they're talking to right now because of the beauty of VR, I suppose. But let's start with you, Juice, on my left, technically, and then we'll go Penny, and then through the rest. So fire away.
Yeah, I'm Juice, captain of Eternity/owner.
Penny Packer, IGL.
I'm Proof.
I'm Ace, Link Watch, I guess.
I'm Proxy. Shoot person.
Awesome. Thanks again for taking the time to sit down now on cam and chat a bit more about the game of Breachers with me, and kind of what you guys want to see change. What maybe you would change if you had the power in the game of Breachers, and maybe also a little bit about the mid game, because we do have a resident shotgun expert, dare I say, on hand here. And Penny, I've been circulating this message around in all of my interviews. I talked to Dead Stop, to Acer, and I'm trying to get some feel for the shotgun, but no one's giving me the answer I want. So what is your opinion on this shotgun in the mid game? Because it's not a fluke at this point. I think people can pretty safely say that you're effectively utilizing it in the mid game.
Yeah, I think I love the shotgun. I think it is a great kind of mid-tier weapon. I'm kind of one that would pull it out if we win our first round. If I don't want to go like full Vezin or I don't have enough for a full Vezin. We've got another player that can go full Vezin, and the map permits it. I'll get a shotgun. And there's definitely really so far that I've found, and I think people are going to find more and more spots, but the spot that you're playing really dictates if you're going to be able to use that shotgun or not. Obviously, people are finding out about the one on factory, 3rd floor, by the storage. There's a nice little corridor where lots of different rooms, lots of close quarters. I think as long as you can get that barrel a few inches from them, you're good to go. But as soon as you get a little further out than that, you're rolling the dice. So it can definitely be tough, but as long as you've got a spot that you know you're going to be sitting and it's close quarters enough, you can definitely pull it off and do really well and not have to have the greatest aim because you just got to get at the chest and you're good to go.
Yeah, and speaking of the mid game, maybe even the early game a little bit, let's get around and get everyone's favorite pistol to utilize here. And it's not maybe a hard answer, but I'm curious if there's any Taurus lovers out there on the Eternity side or not, or if we're all just Spectral all the way down here. And Juice, we'll start with you. What's your preferred starting pistol kits?
It's Spectral. I tried Taurus many times, but I'm awful. And then if my aim is bad with the Spectral, I'm going Cyclone just to give me support with my shaky wrist I have.
Okay, not a surgeon over there is what we're saying.
No.
Okay, Penny.
I'm definitely Spectral as well. I've also tried the Taurus, and I think it's just for basketball terms out there, it's like live and die by the 3. You're living and dying by that Magnum, or sorry,
Taurus.
What's it called?
Taurus.
Thank
Don't
you.
even. It's fine. You don't even buy it. I get it.
Yeah, and it really is a lot more money, so you do miss out on some util items. And early round, those util items can be pretty huge. So it's real risky.
Yeah. Who do I have next? Proof.
I've been kind of digging the Taurus lately, but like it just really depends on like what side it is or what side I'm on. Like if I'm on defense, I'm most likely gonna be using the Taurus, but on attack it's always the or the Spectral. I mean.
Okay. Ace, what's your preference?
I'll use the Taurus on like save rounds and stuff, but I love the Spectral. I have to use it on pistol rounds.
Okay. And Proxy?
I'm a Spectral guy.
Okay. So to this point, too, now we can kind of get into maybe some theory crafting, so to speak. What would you guys want to see changed in the game of Breachers? I mean, and especially for me, at least, my curiosities around the mid game, because I feel like we lose a lot, or don't really even have in some cases a mid game, at least in the meta, at a high level. What are your guys' sort of thoughts on that? With around SMGs and other options, other than just a Spectral and a Vezin, which seems to be the core of almost every competitive player.
Yeah,
Well, there's one, but I'll leave it to Penny.
Well, you want to say yours, bro? I got a whole list, bro. I documented in a Google Doc.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they need to increase the assault rifles, price, so it allows people to have to utilize the SMGs a little bit more. Because if whoever wins the first round, it's pretty given that they're going to win the second round unless their pushes are not as strong and they give up that Vezins because they're going to all force buy. As many people will.
Yep.
So I think utilizing or having the game where you have to utilize that SMG second round gives the opposite team a bigger chance since they all only have pistols. And then what Penny's going to dive into would definitely be the bomb timer, because you can plant in like a second and then the defuse is way much longer, but as well as it's like a minute, the timer. So I think it's too long, so it allows the opposite team to I guess reform and push when that bomb timer should cause a much more faster paced gameplay.
Yeah, we've certainly seen a lot more retakes happening, Penny, and so maybe that's kind of a part of that reasoning there, is because there's so much time that teams are kind of gravitating towards retakes more now.
Yeah, and it is so much time that you go back and watch VOD reviews and like it looks like they're having a campfire, take 30 seconds to figure out what they want to do, and then go do the retake. But I think what's just really frustrating about it is being on. I mean, a lot of these maps so far are currently really defender-sided. Hideout, in my opinion, is like the only one that is attacker-sided because you have access to the bomb sites like right from outside.
Yep.
I think that's one of the big reasons it is. But other than that, it's very defensive-sided. So the attacking team is working real hard to get that bomb down, and then when they do, it really does feel like they're not rewarded for it. And they can try to get good post plant positions, but there is just so much time. So it would be nicer to have that be a little more rush factor into it, where defense has to, get into gear and like, hey, if we want to win this, we got to go. And like, there's so many times where it's been like a second or a few seconds off, and like we're always constantly telling each other, hey, buy more time, buy more time, buy more time. But it just doesn't seem like you can buy enough time. So that's super frustrating. So definitely diffuser timer to be maybe lowered from a minute to 45 seconds. I think that'd be a great switch there. But also some features like allowing to pick the bomb site for defense, because currently how it is, it's random. And I'm pretty sure on this one, it's not the same per side. So one side might have one bomb site more than the other. And I think you would find that there are some bomb sites that are easier to defend than others. So it's kind of there's luck of the draw sometimes, giving it favor to one team over the other. And then allowing this feature would be pretty cool for scrims, because this is another thing we face. We always have to ask to go attacking first in scrims because we want that opportunity, that weaker side, the harder side. We want to get all those rounds in. But if you start on defense, dominate, 6-0, you have one attacking round and you can't, and no team wants to do this thing where you remake the lobby and switch sides or whatever. So being allowed in private servers to do the full length, there's no win limit. And so each side gets 6 and 6 on each side would be really cool too. So that'd be a nice thing. And I'm gonna say it, drop shotting. I still think it's an issue. I know they fixed the drop shot thing.
A hot take.
But, yeah, hot take. Drop shotting in gunfights. I think this game is very tactical, so making movement be such a powerful tool kind of goes away from being a tactical shooter. But that's just my opinion, and devs can do what they want.
Hey,
be played how they want. So
we're all entitled to our own opinions, and you guys, I want to hear it from you because you guys have put maybe some of the most time out of some of these players in this game. So it's definitely valid points coming in from folks that know the game. Proof, you got anything you would like to see changed? Anything that kind of you think could be adjusted to help improve the game?
Just to add on what you said, I do think that the effective resonance should be upped a little bit, because I'd love to see either one or just an additional pistol round, because in my opinion, pistol rounds are always the funnest for me because fair and just a really fun weapon to use. But I would like to see more utilization of the Omen or RCP and things like that too, because I mean, they're not bad weapons. It's just like there's no point to choose it over even if they're not, honestly. But,
Ace,
people use a Taurus over it, like they wouldn't even go to an SMG.
Ace, or anything you would want to see changed, or do you enjoy the game the way it is?
Same thing how it is, basically. I mean, none of the SMGs are really usable at all. But another thing is the Marui is also just completely ignored. I feel like if the Vezin was like just a little bit more than the Marui, maybe like 200 credits, maybe it'd start getting used a little more.
Yeah, we have seen some teams starting to utilize that just a touch. I've seen a couple of folks utilizing it for wall bangs in particular. It seems to have some good use case there.
It's a strong weapon, for sure.
Yeah.
Proxy, anything you'd like to see changed?
So, in my opinion, it's rifle headshots. In my opinion, like, if you get shot in the head with the rifle, there's no scenario in my mind where you shouldn't be dead. So, that's something that I want to see changed, personally.
Okay, a little more focus on the headshot aspect of it. I like it. I
would add one more real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, this one I think is really important as a support player. Drones, I think the drones, with how slow they move, it's really hard to clear what you want to clear. So giving an unlimited timer and not changing the speed of the drone, or somehow to like let the drone needs to recharge, it drops and you can re-pick it back up. I think that would really, another piece to really help out the attack and maybe even that balance of it being defender sided currently.
Kind of turn it into like a health syringe effect, where if you can get your hands back on the drone, it takes some time, but it recharges and you can use it again. Yeah, we got some good ideas in here. We should get these to the devs or something. Maybe they'll be tuning in and listening to the interview. Fingers crossed.
One idea, but it's opinion too. Like offense has a cloak, and then they can sit inside, especially if the bomb's playing and you're cloaked and you have a strong angle. It's definitely hard to beat But what if defense has some sort of, it's just like a proximity, whereas it's you can put it anywhere on the wall, and in that room you can't be cloaked. They'll take your cloak off. You can also shoot that off the wall, but it could also remove a cloak.
I think the way that I think the way Onward does it is that they have a flying drone for the attacking team and a rolling drone for the defensive team. So maybe a drone that's stuck to the ground and can only go, bounce upstairs or whatever, but you can't fly and it rolls, kind of like a Rainbow Six Siege sort of style drone. Maybe that could be a tool that could see some effect on defense too. But hey, we're we're spitballing at this point. Anything's possible. I don't think I got anything else. We're coming up on our limit, but if you guys have anything else you want to say before we sign off, anything to the fans at home that have been tuning in, and
Yeah, we appreciate all the support for who's given their support to Eternity. We're glad to be here. We appreciate VRML for allowing our team to be here as well.
Yeah.
We love the game Preachers. We can't wait for other games to come out where we can expand our organization. And overall, our famous motto: Eternity on top.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for taking the time to interview. Anything else? I guess I don't want to cut anyone off. Anything else from anyone else?
No, we appreciate you, Nightfire. Thank you.
Awesome. Then, we'll wrap up the recording here.